Zillow recently released their latest housing market forecast for 2025. It's raising a lot of questions about where the real estate market is headed. With elevated mortgage rates, rising inventory, inflation concerns, and new economic policies affecting home construction, there's a lot to unpack. So in today's video, we're breaking down what home prices are expected to look like in 2025, where are mortgage rates headed, is there a risk for a housing crash? How will new economic policies impact home affordability? And what does this all mean for you as a buyer or a seller? This is going to be an information-packed video, so stick around until the end for my thoughts on how to navigate this market successfully. And before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I do try to post new and helpful content every week. As we move through 2025, concerns about the stability of the U.S. housing market are growing. Mortgage rates remain elevated. Inflation continues to pressure affordability. Home prices are still rising, albeit more slowly. And tariffs on imported building materials could push new construction costs even higher. While these factors have created significant affordability challenges, the good news is that most experts do not expect a housing market crash. Why? Well, the labor market for the time being remains strong, keeping consumer demand relatively stable. Could that change over the next few months? Of course it can. More inventory is hitting the market. This is a good thing for buyers as it provides more options. Mortgage rates are expected to decline slightly, but not dramatically, over the next year. However, risks still do exist. If mortgage rates were to spike sharply, or if the economy faced widespread job losses, we could see more significant market turbulence. But as of now, the data suggests a year of slow, steady growth rather than a major downturn. Zillow's latest projections indicate that home value growth in 2025 is expected to be weaker than previously forecasted. According to Zillow's February 2025 home value and home sales forecast, the housing market will likely experience moderate growth this year. Here's what they are predicting. Home prices will rise by about 0.9% in 2025. Now, this is a downward revision from their earlier forecast of 2.9%. In terms of home sales, they are predicting over 4 million existing home sales in 2025, which is only a slight increase from 2024. So why did Zillow lower its initial forecast? The biggest factor is more inventory is hitting the market, which is leading to less upward pressure on home prices. New listings surged over 60% month over month in January. Compared to last year, new listings are up over 11%. However, total inventory is still 16% below pre-pandemic levels. So while buyers have more options than before, it's not quite enough to cause a significant price drop yet. That affordability is a key driver of competition in 2025. Cities like Buffalo, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Providence, Hartford, and Philadelphia are some of the hottest markets in the country due to their lower home prices compared to major metros like New York or Los Angeles. Meanwhile, existing home sales are predicted to only see a slight increase compared to 2024. To put things into perspective, 2024 saw the lowest number of home sales in almost 30 years, and Zillow is forecasting only a small increase from that historical low. According to the National Association of Realtors, existing home sales in the U.S. were just over 4 million last year. That is the weakest year for home sales since 1995. The median national home price for all of last year rose 4.7% to an all-time high of just over $400,000. So what does this mean for you? Well, it depends on mortgage rates. Mortgage rates have been one of the biggest obstacles for buyers over the past few years. Here's what Fannie Mae is forecasting for the 30-year fixed mortgage rate in 2025. In the first quarter of the year, they're expecting the average mortgage rate to be around 6.9%, while at the end of the year, they expect the average rate to be around 6.5%. Going into next year, rates are expected to stay in the 6.5% range. This means that while rates may decline slightly, they are not expected to return to the ultra-low levels of 2020 or 2021 anytime soon. Even with slightly lower rates, home prices remain high, making affordability a major challenge for buyers. Redfin reports that home prices rose 4% year over year in January of 2025, with the median home price now at $418,000. With home prices still on the rise, even a small drop in mortgage rates may not be enough to make housing much more affordable for buyers. We'll likely need to see a significant cut in either rates, prices, or a combination of both. Another major factor in 2025's housing market is inflation and economic policy changes, specifically new tariffs on imported building materials. I recently did a video on how these tariffs could impact the housing market, and you can watch that one right here. The basic gist of it is that tariffs on imported home building materials and supplies, of which we are heavily reliant on, will make building or renovating a home much more expensive. Here's what that could mean for the housing market. The cost of new construction homes could rise as builders pay more for materials. New construction could slow down, worsening the housing shortage that we've been dealing with. Affordability could also remain a challenge as buyers face higher home prices and interest rates. These tariffs will drive up costs for materials like lumber, steel, and aluminum, forcing builders to pass these expenses on to the buyers. Now, while tariffs will most likely cause short-term price increases, domestic production could eventually help stabilize costs in the long run. But the fact that we get over 70% of our softwood lumber from Canada means it will cost more to build or renovate a home. So while we are seeing some relief in inventory, these rising costs could limit the supply of newly built homes, keeping prices high. So with all of this information, we are constantly asked if we are headed towards another market crash. According to NAR's chief economist, a crash would only happen if we saw mortgage rates spiking to 9% or higher, and if there were massive job losses leading to widespread foreclosures. Right now, neither of these scenarios seem likely. Fingers crossed. Instead, most experts agree that we are in for a period of slow, steady growth rather than a market collapse. Zillow expects just about 1% home price growth, while Fannie Mae predicts 3.5% price increase, Redfin predicts a 4% increase, and Realtor.com predicts a 3.7% price growth. This means home prices will likely keep rising, just at a much slower pace than in previous years. So what's next? If you are thinking about buying a home in 2025, the good news is that inventory levels are rising. More homes are being listed, and new construction is slowly picking up. This means you'll have more choices compared to the ultra-competitive market we've seen over the last few years. Mortgage rates may decline slightly, but not dramatically. Experts predict that mortgage rates will trend downward throughout 2025, but don't expect a major drop. Even with a slight decline, rates will remain much higher than the historic lows of 2020 and 2021. If you are waiting for rates to hit 4% again, you may be waiting a long time. Instead, focus on finding a home that fits your budget now and securing the best rates possible through lender incentives or rate buydowns. One of the biggest shifts in 2025 is that buyers might have slightly more leverage than they did over the last 2 years. Why? More inventory means less competition for each home. You may be able to negotiate price reductions, seller concessions, or repairs that were nearly impossible to ask for in the last few years. Pro tip, don't be afraid to ask for closing cost assistance or request a seller buy down on your mortgage rate to make homeownership more affordable for you. Many buyers are still holding out hope for home prices to fall, but here's the reality. Experts predict slow but steady appreciation in 2025 and beyond. Pro tip, if you find a home that you love and can afford, consider locking in now rather than waiting. Even if rates go down on the future, you can always refinance, but if prices keep rising, you could end up paying more in the long run. Even with a slight drop in mortgage rates, affordability remains one of the biggest hurdles for buyers. Home prices are still rising. Inflation continues to impact household budgets. Tariffs on imported building materials could drive up construction costs, limiting new supply. For sellers, strategic pricing and marketing are going to be key. If you are planning to sell your home in 2025, you are entering a market where buyers are starting to have more choices, which means your pricing and marketing strategy will be crucial. More competition means pricing smartly is critical. With more homes being listed, overpricing could cost you valuable time and money. Buyers are becoming more selective. They can afford to be picky. Homes that sit on the market too long may require price reductions. Pro tip, work with an experienced agent to price your home competitively from the start. A properly priced home is more likely to receive multiple offers quickly rather than sitting stagnant and needing price cuts. With more inventory available, buyers are looking for homes that are turnkey, meaning they don't want to deal with major repairs or renovations. Homes that need work may struggle to attract buyers. Properties that show well and are well maintained will move quickly. Pro tip, consider small upgrades like fresh paint, deep cleaning, and minor repairs to boost your home's appeal. High quality marketing will make a huge difference. With more homes hitting the market, strong listing photos, videos, and online exposure will set your home apart. Professional photography and video tours can attract more buyers. Virtual staging can help showcase your home in the best possible light. Make sure your listing stands out, both online and in person, to attract the highest number of buyers. If you are considering selling in 2025, you may be wondering if it's better to wait. Here's why 2025 is still a strong year to sell. Home prices are still rising, even if growth is starting to slow. Buyer demand has remained steady, and if rates drop later in the year, more buyers could enter the market, increasing competition. So what's your take on Zillow's latest housing market forecast? Do you think home prices will keep rising or start falling? Are mortgage rates still too high for most buyers? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching. I'm George Poporad, and I'll see you next time.